All right, my friends, here we go. This is the Dojo Training Program. I got to make a little adjustment to my window here. We do this every Wednesday and Thursday, and I might adjust this a little later once we get to the games window. But we do the people who've graduated up till 1100, so they've broken out of the 1000s. On Wednesday, and then on Thursday, I do the one that is over 1,000. So people graduating from, say, the 1,000 to 1,100 cohort into the 11 to 12. Okay, so we have a number of cool, it's a mellow show today. Sometimes I feel overwhelmed. Sometimes I feel like it's just too much. That's why I split into two shows. But today I feel is pretty manageable. We're starting off here with Business Prof. Excuse me. I had a delicious coffee going on for myself here. And Business Prof says, this is great. Thanks to everyone in the 300 to 400 cohort who are working hard to get better. I made little to no progress until I joined the dojo. Have taken off like a rocket ship since. This is exactly what I needed, a structured program and a cohort to work through it with. In the event anyone cares, these are what I believe have helped me the most. Analyzing and annotating my games with an almost obsessive passion. Nice. We'll take a look at one of your games in a second. Abandoning, for the most part, online tactics trainers and using books instead. Perhaps it's because I've trained myself to just pick the forcing move in online trainers and proceed from there, or maybe because I'm from the 1900s. But the books have been a huge help. Also, as a teacher, I think the curriculum is accessible and easy to understand. Well done. Thank you. Well, one thing that's so interesting about the books is there's definitely a cultural tension between us old-timers who grew up with the books and then the younger kids who feel like books are just use-your-own friendly. And so, we have books in the program. They're absolutely fantastic. And I guess what I would say is part of the growth in anything, but in our program, is to force yourself to do things that are a little bit uncomfortable to you. So if you never read a book, it might be hard the first time, It sounds mean, like what I'm saying. No, my kids, it's very hard for them to read books. They're not going to grow up in a textual-based culture the way I did. But forcing them, if whatever they're into, to read a book where somebody has thought about what's going on, it will very much help. Yeah. And then, of course, most of our stuff is not books, So if you are into the old time traditions like I am, I read books all the time. I kind of would want even more books, but I know that I'd be pushing the boundaries in that tension between the book culture and the new online culture. Gefilte fish, hello. All right, let's click on Business Prof over here. I'm going to follow. Made it up. Beautiful progress quite recently here. And that's great. And they got a tactics rating. They did the Polgar test. Haven't done these tests over here. And we can see that these are all pretty consonant. Actually, we should expect, based on these scores, that our tactics prof will probably go up soon. It'd be cool to see his tactics test scores. That would help him anyway. All right, clubs. All right, looks good. Activity, beautiful. You can see Business Prof did a lot of work, dude. Did a lot of work. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the games that he put in. 19. Now, dude is doing the work. Dude is doing the work. Okay, here we go. Let's see a time graph first of all. And this is very typical. I just put out some videos. We have a guy who edits the videos, so it's going to take a little while. But one of the things I said, and this is to compliment Business Prof, is to make it out above 1,000. This whole quest, to get to 1,000, which is about 1250 ChessCom. 1450 leeches, which puts you, by the way, at the 90th percentile of all people who've, gone onto the server. That one of the things, there's 3 things I mentioned, but one of them was using your time. And so what we see time and again in these graduation shows is that we have somebody from the dojo taking their time, and then their opponent basically playing it like a blitz game, So this person ends with 26 minutes left. It's a 30-minute game. They use 4 minutes. I hope we beat them. It's not a guarantee that we beat them, but I hope so. Here we go. Okay, fancy. Knight e4. Usually d5 is considered the right move here, but that's okay. Boom. Bishop b4. Looks kind of funky. Okay. So you have a number of moves here. To me, queen e2 does look very hard for him to meet. Okay, so you took. And for me now, the main question would be, could he steal this coconut? And what would happen if he did? There's some big questions to be answered there, I think. Okay. He takes, develops your queen, and now he's got a lot of hanging stuff. Knight c5. And right. Bishop f7. If you don't see a3, then it's a very fine move to play bishop f7. And honestly, for myself too, I might be just so excited about this beautiful tactic and his hanging stuff that I would do it. Notice too that what happened is this person isn't taking their time, and they are helping you. You have a massive lead in development now, right? The queen is actually developed. These pieces are loose. So it's very natural that we now find a situation where dude's position is completely falling apart. Okay, so pop. I would say this is technically a winning position because you got the pawn and his king is all blown open. Okay. Okay. Good move. Good move. Okay. Good. Well, it's hard to complain about that one. Oh, that wasn't it. Thank you very much. Now, it's interesting. One of the things I've seen at the lower cohorts is oftentimes when somebody wins a pawn or a piece, in this case, they'll say like clear advantage. Well, that's a winning advantage. You're up a piece. You're up a piece. That's a completely crushing advantage. Queen h5. Yeah, that doesn't do anything good. So let's go look at how much time you spent. You spent 2 minutes. When you don't like the move, by the way, tell us what you like. Rook e1 or rook d1, one of those moves. You're killing the guy. So, by the way, you've played great this game. There's another move too. Watch this. We could have gone pap. And we're nailing these guys. Okay. So, check to the miserable king. Check. And at least you haven't lost your piece. Good move. Okay. Little strange. By the way, here you just want to trade pieces. Just trade pieces because you're up so much. You say thank you very much. Ooh, fancy. You're getting a little frisky with the knight. Now it's making me a little nervous. But this person's just hanging their stuff. Are they thinking? No. Now you could have taken his rook, yeah. Oh, very nice. Uh-huh. Yeah, great game. And let's say the obvious. To get out of this next cohort, you're going to play a bunch of people like this. They're not going to be taking their time. They're going to be hanging pieces, right? And you need to not hang stuff. Take your time. It seems like you're doing that well. And the win is going to be the win. So I think you're going to do great, man. I think this is very promising because it looks like you understood the development, taking your time. You didn't hang too much stuff. You might have missed A3. I could imagine missing that too just because bishop F7 is so tasty. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Let me just check if someone's yelling at me. Doesn't work. Okay, so let's go to the next person. Next up, we have Wololo, who has graduated numerous times. I think what's helping me most to progress has been trying to justify my moves before playing them. Also not blundering my coconuts if I can help it. I have been diligent on tactics training and doing puzzles. That looks great. All right, let's take a look. So, Wololo is crushing it, as you can see. And we want to do the tactics test. It's a fairly recent thing that we have the tactics tests all the way down. But it's so important, my friends. It's important for you, but also the dojo. We need, to get an accurate rating on a test, we need about at least 100 people taking that test. So hopefully that'll come soon. This all looks good. They haven't done the survival. They just haven't worked on that yet. All right. So, clubs. Looks good. Oh, I'm Maryland as well. Okay. Here we got 50 hours. No. We're going to go back one. And dude did this in 10 points for 4 hours. This guy's flying up there. He's flying up there. Okay. So Wololo, you're just killing it, Bows. All right. So this was uploaded today, but played a couple days ago. Let's see the time graph. Oh, these people were thinking. What is our time control? Looks like a game 30. Okay. So, whoa. Let's go back up here so we can see this. Good move. Good move. Good move. I just want to compliment you. Really good development. Okay, great. And he's moved his queen a bunch. And you just bishop d7, just rejoice a little bit because you're like, well, he moved it again. Queen e2, very good. Oh, okay, so here we go, my friends. Not developing. Not developing their stuff. Okay, so now Wololo, if you don't like bishop c6, you should tell us what you should do instead. You're doing great in this position. And it's probably not terrible what you did, but you do have a lot of different moves here, like rook e1. Rook e1, h3 is also pretty juicy looking. I think h3 might h3, it's hard to believe that h3 doesn't win on the spot. Because see, if he goes back, we whack him and we give him this business. It's hard to imagine he's going to live through that one. And then also, if he takes, we not only have this pressure, but we're helping this pawn come forward. So that's also looking pretty groovy for us. Okay, so you took. That's looking great. Now the guy has the option to play knight d5. Does not. Why don't we take on c6, Bows? So I get it, it's a misclick, but look, that's a free coconut. And so one of the things I really want to stress is, at this level, games are decided on people either giving away their coconuts or not taking the free coconuts. This would really put black in a bad business. He cannot play queen d7. He's got to play knight d7. And then we could start prying the cage open. I've never said that before, but I kind of like prying the cage open. Like one of those he's in the Shark Tank, you know. We're going to try to open that Shark Tank. Hi, Abdul. All right, so mouse click. Okay, so now black might be surviving. Okay, good. Weird. So think to yourself, well, what could we do? Pretty basic thing would be to put our rook somewhere and bring the other rook in. But we want to bring this guy in. Your pieces are working, but we need them all working. Fancy. This to me looks like superficial threat, right? We want to get your pieces working, not just your knight. I guess he could have taken your pawn, boss. So notice what you're doing is you're creating the threats. You're creating the threats, yeah. All right, he takes. Now, I don't think I would have taken just because this lets your rook now get active. Well, maybe it's okay for him. Queen c7. Decided not to trade here because I thought black had better chances at a pawn ending. Well, we're not even close to a pawn ending, though. So queen c7, I don't like it. The very simple maneuver to play here would be snip, snop, taco, and bring the more pressure to bear. He's got two weak pawns. You're looking good. Now, this is what we see also at higher level play, is that when it comes to the end game, people are like, well, I don't know, you know? I don't know what to do anymore. And I'm just going to move in the game, and then in the analysis, I'm just going to be like, well, I guess that was that. There's a lot to think about here. Like f6, does that make sense? I don't know. e4, I don't know. Now the d4 pawn's weak. How about rook c5? Oh, and then so queen e3 was a mistake. We needed that rook c5 move. Now this was pinned, so rook fd8 looks good. And that's frisky now because now your business is pinned, so probably queen d4. So here's the thing about the endgame too. This applies also to higher level cohorts. If you are afraid of trading queens, it's a real problem. And we've already seen you go away, hide from it once. And one of the things I can see by the lack of annotations is you're just uncomfortable here. You don't like this at all. Endgame is part of the game. He releases this pressure. Queen takes is more natural. Now it's pinned again. Okay, now he's up a pawn. Now he's not. F5. Check to the miserable king. Now he can make a draw if he wants with queen e2. He says no. We say push. Good. No one understands. Thank you. Good. Frisky. a7. We should talk about queen f3. We should talk about queen g3 here. And now he really blew it. Thank you very much. Wow. Well, so that was intense. Much different from the last game. In the last game, somebody wasn't thinking at all. The non-dojoer wasn't thinking at all. And this was really, it turned into a blitz game at the end. Okay, don't be afraid of the ending, okay? And when your opponent gives you a development advantage, like they did here, even if you can't figure it out during the game, try to figure out how you could have punished them after the game. All right, but that was really good. We're going to see more of Wolololo pretty soon. Brother Theodore says, he doesn't say anything. 27, that's a fine age to be, huh? It's a fine age to be. So it looks like they didn't quite make it to 900. Need him to do the tactics test. Otherwise, this looks consonant and good. We should expect, yeah, it's about right. It's about right for where they are. Tactics test would tell us more. So, we got some clubs, activity. Boom, 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 boom. Looks great. Maybe not so many games, but we got to go down one, buddy. That's me. I'm the buddy. So maybe not. Maybe they're just flying up, just flying. And we might have looked at this last time. Let's see. Ooh, you know what I wasn't doing? I wasn't marking games as reviewed. So yeah, I've already looked at this game. Oh, cry. Just go back real quick. Just go back real quick and do this. The thing about it for them too is then they know I think they get a little message or something that I looked at their business. Let's just do this real quick before I forget. We're gonna look over here and say games. I go Simon, I go here, I go here. Very good. All right, next up is I Twice. I Twice might, sometimes people just come to the dojo and they haven't done much yet. Yeah, this person's very new. I think they just got here. Let's just see, no games. Yeah, they just got here. So we'll move on from I Twice. George. And George is going to write us a novel. I don't mind if you write a novel. It's fine. My starting rating was at the top end of this cohort, so I didn't really get a chance to do all the drills before my writing got over the threshold. Fine. The discussion and analysis of my games with others has been something I've never done before, and I feel like it is making a big difference in the learning process. I was politely pressured into not using the engine so much in analysis, and am now forced to calculate concrete lines, much to my benefit. The method of doing tactics here is similar to solving them OTB rather than online, and it trains a very different skill set. My pattern recognition is decent for my rating, but my calculation and visualization is lacking. Still need to do puzzle rush, online tactics, etc., but with the understanding that is only part of the problem. Probably the best feature of the site is connecting you with other players who really want to study chess and improve. Avoiding some of the bad sportsmanship that exists online is great, and I feel motivated to really engage with the games I play without worrying about my opponent rushing moves, yada yada. Cheating. It would be nice to get more Lichess integration into the dojo site. Maybe certain drills can be played via dojo rather than linking to Lichess. Okay. So, yeah. I feel, by the way, we're integrated to both sites. Like the sparring really goes most easily through Lichess. And the puzzle storm thing they have in Lichess is terrible. So that's why we're doing the puzzle rush it only goes for the under 1700s. But it's, I understand. Let's get in here, and I'm going to test some of my theories too with George, because I have some theories about what it takes to get out of the 1,000 cohorts here. So, I'm going to follow. And beautiful. By the way, it's a huge milestone. Like I said earlier, 1,000 in the chess dojo, but then also it's 1250 on ChessCom and 1450 Lichess is a 90th percentile. Now it's just the 90th percentile of anybody who ever kind of set foot into the, let's say, chess.com. But still, you think about it, you think about like people who work out or something, 90th percentile, that's, dude, you're a beast. You are now a beast. Okay. So we want you to do these tests. That would be good. That's also an example of something where the tests are now on our site. They're not, anywhere else. Clubs. European, UK. Nice. All right. I like it. Activity. And, 30. It looks like a little it looks to me, actually, they probably didn't log their time. Some people do, some people don't. Here's our amazing score breakdown. Looks like good macros. Let's take a look at a game. Okay. So a video I just did, this is a theory I kind of want to test. The video I just did, it's not out yet, they're editing it, makes the claim that in the under 1,000 cohorts, to get out of the under 1,000, well, let me put it this way. The under 1,000 cohorts, the turning point of the game is always somebody hanging something. And so we'll test it on this game. But also that like learning the fancy tactics, like the mate in twos or, pins, forks, discoveries, all this stuff, is really a tool to help develop people's grip on the board. And it's like, imagine you playing 50, 60 moves to not hang anything in that time period requires you to have that grip. And so my theory is all these tactics and fancy stuffs are really, they're nice, especially for later. But for right now, it's like those help you visualize, especially the mate in twos, what is controlling what. Hopefully that makes sense. What is controlling what? All right, here we go. So, let's look at the time. What is it dealing with? We got it. This is a 30 plus 30. We don't have the time imported, unfortunately. We'll leave this here. M. Norris is, lots of people saying stuff here. That's really cool. All right, so here we go. Good. This is the way I've played myself against this thing. E5 would transpose to a French, as you write there. E takes, and here you can both do E takes or queen takes. Looks premature, but I struggle to find other moves for black. So right, the issue is that when we take this pawn, we are going to invite their one bad piece onto a great square. There we go. Bishop d7. Knight f6 feels more natural. Castles. Queen a5. Yeah. So your position, by the way, is a little, little loose. By the way, so far, I would say white has played GM level play. There's nothing really wrong. Maybe some moves I wouldn't have done, but GM, I'm sure some GM has played this way, for example. It's very principled, and now you have some concrete problems that you have to solve. When you play Queen a5, you're going to lose a tempo, obviously. But playing bishop takes c3, the issue I see there for you is then this is a real worry. Oh, no. Oh, no, you gave knight f6. I think that's crispy critters right there. You just cut your soul off. Cut your soul off over here. So it's a problem. And this kind of happened with bishop d7 and cd4. So, by the way, these are highfalutin mistakes. This is not like Kraai talking about somebody hanging something. This is a difficult position. Like, can we play knight f6? That would be the big question, I think. I'm glad you looked at it. Here it looks like you could play here or here or here. They all look fine for you until he can play d5. See, d5, I think he's just hanging his coconut there. Okay, so inaccuracy. Knight f6 is better. Now, he needs to find a way to hurt you. Now it's time for him to hurt you. You looked at d5. I love this note. Looks like a more principled approach. Yeah, and I can tell you right now that looks amazing for white, That looks amazing. And I don't know, to me, the only real question is, can we take? And then white has to talk about their compensation or lack of it in this position. You might, we're not done with the analysis yet. Maybe you didn't consider this, but if I was white, I would be like, well, it looks great, but I kind of want to, I want to know for sure if I'm really slaying this person or not. And there's a variety of candidate moves that white has here. Knight g5, bishop d2, yada, yada. But we're going to leave that. That would be for white to figure out. So queen e2, good. A little passive. And knight e4, question mark. Maybe mistake is too harsh, but I feel like this is against the spirit of the position. White has better pieces and an isolated pawn, which can be useful in attack. Trading down is not the way to go. Now, by the way, you are reflecting like some very deep chess wisdom, if you will, right? Great. So I feel like you really understand what that was great. Like that's definitely a 1,000 plus comment. Now, 94, I will say, I totally agree with the notion that in principle it's wrong. But if you have to play knight takes e4, and he plays queen takes e4, touching the coconut on h7, then we have to have at least some sympathy for this knight e4 move, right? Because it looks like white still has an edge here. This is poor, you got a problem. If g6, bishop h6, and he doesn't have to trade off this guy. And if you do that, oh, excuse me, f5. Oh, interesting. So you're saying that he can't play queen e3. Let's see, because this is what I would think he should be able to do. Knight takes d4, and black wins a pawn. I don't know. It looks to me like our coconuts are going to get lost here, right? And we're going to lose this guy. So definitely queen e3. And then the real question in terms of evaluating the position is just how bad of a problem is this backward pawn. Yeah. Okay, so f5, bishop b4 looks like a big mistake. fe, bishop a5, and then you play e, good. And now we have ourselves an interesting position. fg2, king g2. I think I like this move. I was thinking rook f8 would maybe be your intention. Okay, when you don't like a move like rook d8, tell us what you want. What would you have rather done? And it would be good at this point maybe to give like an evaluation of the position. My sense, for example, is that, well, it kind of all depends on how we feel about the bishops, and in particular, how fast can we get this bad boy to c6? You know, knight e7, in fact, right now is also an interesting move, though we have to then contend with bishop b4. We'll still play bishop c6, you know, rook f7, we're going to be fine. Okay, rook f4. That's where we wanted to be in the first place. And now he's losing his mind. Okay. So, rook f3. Good. e5. Maybe black can sit on this position a little more, but I saw a quick way to get an advantage. Oh, very good. Very good. Check to the miserable. Wow. So, this, I guess we're going to say, is our first hang of the game, right? Because here, just bishop f1, and you're really hurting him. He still has, it's not resignable yet, but you are hurting him. Now he can get out of dodge, right? Right, and then he's out of dodge. I wonder, though, maybe it's not over yet. It's not over yet. Wow. Okay. So you're saying knight d8, rook c1, exclamation point. A simple response I didn't see. This is freaking good analysis, dude. This is really good analysis. Also, the evaluation, I think it's an interesting one. I don't know if it's either a little bit better. I mean, yeah, it's an interesting question. What is the eval here? Very interesting question. To me, it seems like white probably should be much better, but after it's hot. Let me just put it that way. It's hot. So it's an interesting position for me to think about as well. It looks, by the way, that there is maybe times being recorded here, but that it doesn't show up here. So I don't know why that happened. It might be that those are the time displayed on the clock after the current move was played. Okay, so let me just see here. So wait a second. If I go way to the top, 30. Okay. Oh, so then it's showing up here. Okay, weird. Okay, that's a little bit new to me. Maybe I don't quite understand why that happened. All right, so here we go. So that's our first blunder, b5. And you said, thank you very much. He takes blunder, right? You're just hanging the d1. You're just hanging the d1. So rook d3. Rook d3, pawn takes. Yeah, this is interesting, right? And now, bishop f1, cb7, rook d8, exclamation point. Yeah, this is great, dude. This is really good. Yeah, this is a great analysis, dude. Great analysis. And then what happened? They blundered big time. That isn't it, right? Whew, easy. Dang. I want to say, George, that was a very well annotated game. And I feel like you recognized things about the dynamic of the position, even if I disagreed with them. Like you were trying to find the dynamic of the position, like the isolated queen pawn. I disagreed with the knight e4 thing, but still I liked the general take you had on it of the dynamic of the position, i.e. we would like to trade. And I would say my thesis about the hanging of stuff, it certainly applied in this game, but it was not like a super simple, I wouldn't say it was super simple for white. The second blunder was definitely just like out of control crazy. But anyways, that was great. Are we done for the day? What is going on here? Let's see. No. Yes, we're done. Whew. It was fast. It was a very fast show.